visible, everybody, we are in trouble basically. So either you remove all the personal identifiers of the data and instead create a kind of a code which just maps the student's data so that you get your reports in easily. The second is you can use AI, we all use AI as our own brainstorming partner, as our own tool to help us trust whatever we need to teach. One aspect which I'm going to share with you, and this is coming up in a very big way as far as AI report detection is concerned. I'll take you a step behind. Let us understand, how does AI get to know whether this answer was written by a human or this answer was written by AI? Two things to remember. AI is basically being trained on the human samples. Every piece of work which is written has been put onto the AI, and AI learns to recognize patterns. So based on certain patterns, it recognizes whether this was human generated or whether this was AI generated. Now, these aspects become very difficult for a human to believe whether the student is telling the truth or is the AI saying that no, this work is AI generated. And therefore, on your screen, you very clearly see that don't have blind reliance on AI detectors, especially when the student work is concerned. If you wish to use any AI assistant carefully, please remember to use your own judgment. And the same applies for any kind of work which is presented. Earlier, if you remember, Turnitin and all, this is before the AI detection aspects had gained so much of importance. Turnitin used to follow the rule of three. That is, if three words were consecutively from another website or something, it used to flag it as a source of plagiarism. Now, it was not an if, on, or etc., but it were three words as paragraphs or phrases or the three ideas put together. But in case of AI, what is happening is everything is getting flagged commonly as humans. Now, we can't change the style of our writing, but we can definitely learn to be kinder when we are using AI and developing it. When we talk of AI-enabled classrooms, and if I don't talk to you about what are the opportunities that we have versus what are the risks that we have, I will be not being honest to what I'm expected to do here. The opportunity that we have with AI is to help students develop their thinking, as I was talking to you earlier, improve their scaffolding. The risk is that we, get students to forget how to think themselves. The advantage here happens is many times if you bring in the AI in the loop, you're able to give faster feedback to the students. But because there is a feedback involved, and if you have not gone through the feedback with greater detail, there is something known as epistemic contamination. That is, the basic knowledge of the child could also be distorted. That doesn't work. In terms of teachers, many a times we are able to, give our work to the AI model to develop, like this whole presentation you're seeing has been developed using a lot of AI tools. And I'm going to be showcasing those tools to you so that you also are able to have visually rich work. Now, if I was to do each one of this painstakingly all by myself, it is a huge ask. So as a teacher, I'm able to augment my lessons by getting very visually rich work. But it becomes a risk for me if I'm going to use AI to judge all work that is going to be presented to me. As an institution, one is able to analyze data better if you're able to host the within your servers, make the correct analysis. But because AI can accelerate data, can access data, and based on the data make judgment calls, there could be an issue. So there are safety exposures which we need to cater for. Now, if AI has got to be adapted in the classroom, you need to move towards an idea which is known as from the bottoms up to a complete scaled up scenario. Now, this looks like a very, very, what should I say, a futuristic classroom, because here there is the interaction of what happens at the base level, at the grassroots level in your classroom. to what happens at this policy level. Therefore, if AI adoption needs to take place, it has to be through a process. I will now come back to one very important aspect. uh, Raju, sir, can you please mute yourself? uh, okay, I think time will just get that. Now, when we going to, as I said, I'm going to step back 1 minute now. And as I step back, I'm going to go back to the TPAC framework, which you all are aware of. Right now, we all have gone through this process of understanding about how technological, pedagogical content, knowledge of teachers intermingled, and how this knowledge finally developed into something known as the technological pedagogical content knowledge, or TPAC skills for a teacher. This framework is nearly 3 decades old, 2 to 3 decades old, where but a lot of teachers today also are focusing on this because we still are understanding how to use technology. We have a mastery of content, but many a times, because our generation is changing, we are also trying various pedagogical options here. Now, the interesting part is on your screen, you see the AIA-PEC framework, which was given in 2025. If you have time at some point of time and you wish to read the paper, if you can scan the code available on your screen, you will go to the paper, which is freely available on the internet, and with a cup of tea, you can enjoy it. So basically, this AIPEC framework talks about understanding the capabilities of AI agents. Now, AI agents are literally small computer programs that can take decisions, that can help you also, guide the students as far as the work is concerned. The other aspect, which is the component, like we had technology, pedagogy, and content outline. The AIPEC addresses ethical issues. Now, ethical issues happens to be the forefront of any discussion when we bring in AI, because without these ethical issues, without a very strong ethical framework, it is impossible to regulate how AI works in the classroom. Now, the third aspect, which is important here, is that irrespective of whether we are using technology or we are using AI, two things have not changed, and that's where it is very interesting for us as educators. One is pedagogical knowledge has not changed. The medium to use that pedagogical knowledge might have changed. Instead of having a PowerPoint presentation, you might have an AR, VR content. The pedagogical knowledge has not changed. The content knowledge has not changed, but the intersection in and around AIPEC has changed. So this was a very interesting way to see how ethics, excuse me, how ethics is blended into the entire learning process, and how one as a teacher or as a teacher educator is able to synthesize the use of technology in the classroom. If you wanted to do a comparison of, say, what is the TPAC model and what is this AIPEC model here, then let us do a quick comparison to understand how this evolutionary shift has taken place. When we had the TPAC model, we had very static arrangements. You would read a book, you would create a presentation, you would read a book, you would have a gamified learning, you would use a book, you would use digital, you would use an LMS which was there. But now, if you have the AI framework in place, you are moving towards more adaptive learning. I haven't understood anything about TPAC, suppose. So an AI agent will not waste time and say, oh, you don't know about TPAC. Instead, it would quickly give me the main points which will help me catch up with what is happening in the class. So we, with the AI framework and with the AI integration or with the AI-enabled pedagogy, we are able to help students adapt and adopt to whatever is needed in the classroom. Now, Because teachers have now more time and the AI agent is being used to co-create content, the teacher has a support as a co-manager in the AI environment. Because now what happens is I can not only quickly create tools, tests, I can also get them graded, I can create a remedial feedback loop, I can also help students, give them autonomy in their learning. Now, if I was to develop this understanding further more, as a teacher, I need to be very, very clear, and that's where on the right hand side of the screen, you need to remember that there has to be a very deep integration of ethical knowledge with AI enabled pedagogical knowledge, and how and what AI tools one can use in the classroom. Basically, I could have given you about, okay, look, let's look at these 15 tools, but trust me, the pace at which things are moving, sharing AI tools doesn't serve the purpose, because every time there is a new tool coming, there are two behind it which do a much, much better job. So we will understand that dynamics in just a bit. Having said all this, let me move ahead and take you back to a very interesting model which was given in the National Curriculum Framework. But this is a school education framework, but very, very applicable as far as higher education is concerned. What you see on screen is not AI generated. It is a technique known as sketch notes. Sylvia Duckworth is the creator of this infographic and the sketch note. And she very beautifully, looking at the analogy of a swimmer who's standing on the shore, describes how technology integration takes place in the classroom. So she says, the first and simple is you decide that no, I don't want any kind of a technology. The next is when you decide technology to be a substitute for the teacher for a direct function. Like instead of being able to repeat my lecture all and over again, you share a recording. That's a substitution. The augmentation is, if I'm not being able to explain something in a certain manner, I use augmenting tools with better understanding. I could use any of the teachers' videos and say, okay, let me augment my learning, or I create a Google form to test the understanding, to run diagnostic tools, tests. Then I'm augmenting the learning of the student. The next aspect of the SAMR model is to allow task redesign, where basically any kind of a task, suppose instead of giving them to write an essay, I can tell them to do a play, I can get them to do a drama, get them to do a play, to compose a music, write poetry. And when you look at it in a completely different environment, technology then helps you solve problems in other examples or other problems, other areas which were previously inconceivable. So if you see on the screen, from a state where you had no tech, or where one was just wondering what one was doing in, what was there inside the ocean, you moved to a situation where you are inside the submarine, you are completely immersed in the learning environment, and you're figuring out what needs to be done at what time. So let us now map this interesting model to how AI can be used in the classroom. As a direct substitution tool, you have AI to generate the text. Instead of using spell checkers, you have AI to immediately check for grammar. But please remember the pitfall here, and I'm repeating myself again. If you give students the option that use AI as a grammar checker, then instead of just rewriting the sentence, you must tell the students to make AI tell them where were they grammatically wrong. That's when they will move from performance to learning. In terms of augmenting learning, you all have interacted with chatbots at various other levels, because say in a banking system, you would have seen a chatbot. Whereas in an educational environment, the chatbot then acts as a tool to give you real-time feedback, to explain when the student wants the explanation at that point of time. Suppose the teacher is not available at 12 in the night, the chatbot then improves the learning by being there to assist the learner and to accelerate what we know as the learning loop. One aspect, like the example I gave all of you, where the professor told the students that, okay, you used AI to write the report, give the difference between what you had written and what was AI generated and how AI enhanced your work. Now, this is a task redesign. You have moved, means as educators, we have moved from a scenario from getting the task of what we know, what we understand, to of like report writing, to a redesigning process which is more and more oriented towards metacognitive activities. And then, of course, when we do AI, when we get students to work in an environment which is a complete redesign of tasks, they can test out their experiments, they can check out which kind of a wheel works where, because using AI, they're able to recreate images based on the prompts. So this is how the SAMR model can be augmented, can be used in the classroom for us to enhance our teaching learning process. I love this sketch note by, again, Sylvia Duckworth. And this sketch note very, very beautifully encompasses how teachers feel about AI. Many of us live on the survival mode. We are either just using it the first time and we are like, we get so overwhelmed with it by wondering that how come it is so good. That's a survival mode, because we don't have the confidence that we are smarter than the machine. No, we get so overwhelmed and then everything, are AI, are AI. But that's a very survival mode. Please remember that mode is going to overwhelm you, because you will always feel that the machine is better. And why is the machine better? Let me give you the answer also. You have had an experience of, say, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of your life. AI has had the experience since innumerable lives. Anything which is available as a data point, as a text, as an audio, as a video, it's got that experience. Of course, it is going to be better than you. So don't compete with it. Come out of the survival mode and move towards the mastery mode, where you start using AI to get it to do the tasks you want. If you want to give students remedial lessons, or you want to give students remedial tests, you don't think you have the time to, write the test questions for them, get AI to do it for you. So move towards mastery. And once you move towards mastery, where you have very clearly understood where all I can shift performance tasks to learning tasks, move towards impact, where you will actually see that using AI, your work is improving. You are able to plan better. You're able to get the students also to plan better. And of course, this is a very lovely situation. I will not call it the ideal situation, is to become an innovator where you start developing AI agents for your own classroom. And trust me, if you Google AI, developing AI agent codes, AI agents are doing vibe coding with just 2-3 days of time. And of course, about with $20 in your pocket and your credit card, you will be able to create AI agents on the fly. All right. So these 4 aspects of from moving from survival to innovation happens to all of us all the time. We should not get overwhelmed. So Ducky says, don't get overwhelmed. She's got a very interesting aspect to deal with. And before we go into that, let us be very clear. If we wish to use AI in our classrooms, we need to have a very, very interesting mindset to use AI. And that comes in when we develop 8 attitudes that form the foundation of our understanding. The first is curiosity. I'm going to run through this so that to show you the tool. The second is, let's be very clear, we need to be open to change. Anything that comes through AI, be very skeptical. Skepticism has to be a part of your mindset. But remember, whatever work submitted by a student, take it with a pinch of salt. It is not necessary that it is always AI generated. You need to move and have ideas for showcasing whether it was performance or whether it was learning. The next is be very responsible with the way you use AI in the classroom for your own self, especially when you're dealing with data. Have a growth mindset, make it your coach to help you develop, master anything and everything you wanted to learn. Be very flexible, because many a times if you tell AI to give you a better way to teach a subject, it will give you better strategies. And it is not because you are incompetent, it is because of the fact that it has more exposure than what we have at this time. The seventh aspect which I wanted to tell you is, please remember, trust your professional judgment. If your gut says this is not okay, with AI, it is not okay. Check, recheck your facts. You are smarter than the AI. And at every opportunity, please think and reflect on how AI is changing the values of you as an educator. These mindsets basically will help you be very conscientious towards and becoming an AI enabled educator. Now, Ducky very beautifully, when she started this session, said that it's all about sharing and caring. And if I don't share and care what I've learned, then I will be missing the point. You also so many slides, where there were beautiful infographics on the screen. Anybody can guess which tool I used, and that's freely available for everybody. Any guesses?
Maybe Canva?
No. No. This is exactly why I said that tools are a danger. Yes. Yes. Any other guesses? No?
It's a combination.
Combination? Yes.
Combination of
Combination. What's
ChatGPT,
the
combination of
combination?
ChatGPT and Gemini ma'am.
Not ChatGPT and Gemini. Okay. So now I'm going to take you through a demo. Because I will not be able to do 3-4 things together, I will be expecting you to follow through. How many of you have heard of this tool?
Notebook LM, yes ma'am.
How many of you have heard of Notebook LM?
Yeah, me ma'am.
All the entire presentation which you saw, except for a few parts where I had used sketch notes, the rest entire thing was created using Notebook LM only. Okay, so now let me take you through Notebook LM and show you how do you use it. I have stopped sharing. I'll have to take you to my screen. Are you able to see my screen? Yes. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes ma'am.
Okay. So my screen is here. How do you go to Notebook LM? You log into your Google account like the way you always log in. How do you log into your Google account? That's easy. Drop down. You see this here, whatever it's called. I forget the name. Okay. Come down. Can you see the Notebook LM? You're able to see the Notebook LM here?
Yes ma'am.
Click the Notebook LM. The minute you click the Notebook LM, it automatically, you see this particular screen on. You see this kind of an arrangement. You have an option of either you create a new notebook. Okay. The minute you say you create a new notebook, or you can go back to a previous notebook. Like this was a notebook that I created earlier. All right. Now, on this, I can add in sources. Now, this is where this app becomes super useful, especially for helping students become learners, especially for all of us who are bracing technology, who are using technology. One of the greatest problems of using AI is we have no surety at what point of time AI is going to hallucinate. Yes or no? We don't know. we have no guarantee whether it's telling the truth or it's going to hallucinate. So with Notebook LM, that comes with one very huge advantage. The greatest advantage that Notebook LM gives you is that whatever you add as a source, like you see here, whatever you add as a source, the AI is going to interact only with that source to generate your response. So there is not going to be anything external from outside. All the responses are going to be based on that source only, or the sources which you give. You have the option of either uploading a file. It could be any kind of a file you can see here. You can give them the websites. You can give it a notebook link, YouTube link. You can also import files from the drive. Now, where the most interesting aspect comes in, you can also use this copied text. Now, when do you use copied text? Suppose I have copied a particular text and I want an infographic made of it. Or I've written a particular text and I need an infographics made on it. Like, let me just give you an example here for your benefit. Yeah, just 1 second. I will copy and give this. I will just copy paste 1 second. I'm just in front of you. I am going to copy paste a random text. All right. Can you see I've posted a random text? It's a coherent text. Random doesn't mean random. It's a coherent text. And I click insert. Are you able to see my screen? You see it is getting inserted here. Now, there I want you to be very careful, because the minute you press your insert, you will have to keep a track here where it is going. Now, this is AI generated, so AI will automatically read what you've posted and give it a heading. So here it is given the heading of Diksha. Now, please remember, when you use this tool, be a bit careful. Over here, by default, it selects all the sources, but you don't want all the sources all the time. Suppose I just want Diksha. Come on this side of the screen. Can you see where my mouse is roaming? This side of the screen. This is where the power of AI comes in. You can create an audio overview. That means it can generate a podcast based on the text that you have selected for your students. In how many languages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Indian languages. So what NEP talked about, multilingualism, etc., your box is checked. It can create a quick video overview based on the text that you have given. It can create a mind map. Let's create a mind map on the text that I have. It can create a report, especially if you want it to generate a report. It can, if you're given a text for it to create a quiz or a flashcard, memory aids. Remember what we talked about, moving from performance to going towards learning. Then flashcards and quizzes can be created. Let me create a quiz for you. And the most interesting things is it can create infographics and slide decks. I wanted it to create an infographic based on what I've just done. So an example of an infographic which was created based on the NEP 2020 is up on your screen now, just by adding the source. This was done earlier. Yeah. This was for a project on how, Indian knowledge systems can be integrated into the Indian classroom to address the gap of, absence of connection of Indian knowledge system with the school subjects. This just happened this was done earlier, but I have given it to create a quiz on Diksha. Now in your screen, you're able to see the quiz. Can you see the quiz here? Let's look at the answer. Now, what do you think? If you do if we do an MCQ question, what happens? We just get a yes or no answer. Now, suppose I click on the wrong answer. Remedial education. This is the power of AI, friends. That remedial education. The right buttons, knowing the right tools, I have the solution with me. I can click next. I get the answer right. Now, suppose it was created. It gives me an answer at every step. It helps me understand whether I was right or wrong. And suppose I create this. It gives me an option to explain. Now, when I click explain, it is going to my source. it is going to my source. Can you see all the movement happening here? So it helps me, what we talked about, AI being a personal learning tool, AI scaffolding learning, AI helping students move from performance-based actions to moving towards learner-centered actions. This is all that you can do. Now, if I was to go back to the studio, I can also create a slide deck which I can show it around. Let's look at the infographic. I just pasted a text in front of you. Let us see what is the infographic that AI created for me. There it is. Did you notice something? Unlike ChatGPT earlier, which used to make mistakes in words, now AI has advanced to greater levels where you don't have these kind of word mistakes because it is using directly from the text. I want to show you, focus your attention here. This is the correct logo of Diksha. When we pasted the text, we did not add the logo, but AI very intelligently went, picked up the logo and brought it for you. So in spite of being in the framework, it is giving you work over and beyond. So that was one very important aspect which I thought I will share. Moving forward, let me just share my screen. I think you can see my screen. Moving forward, I hope all of you use Notebook LM to basically move from the directions what we were talking about and actually use it in the classroom. So if I was to summarize my entire talk, which I gave for about 1 hour plus, and you all very patiently were listening. I'm sorry I've overshot by 5 minutes. The screen on in front of you is the summary. I can use AI to create scaffolds. I can use AI to manage the cognitive load. I can use AI to ensure universal design of learning is fulfilled just by using one simple tool like Notebook LM. So with that, I am through with my talk and deliberations that I had to share with you. I am open to questions and thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pranita Gopal, for your session. And now